you can do as Cloud9, and I was really excited with not only the defensive and just default conditioning opportunities that you get with the Viper, but also the aggressive tendencies you have. Look at this wall!
Yeah, it's already something you don't see very often. We'll see how they choose to play around it. This crew are so intent, already leaning everything towards B. They've dropped nanos in on the site before they even got to Boathouse. They have everything perfectly drilled here.
And the interesting point there, Rooney actually bought a smoke instead of a molly, so they're able to get through right perfectly, and that KO knife as well suppresses him, so no delay. They have to play full 5v5 retake, the only damage done on Zeppa.
Seems like they're gonna have 3 coming in through garage. Zels is still making sure there's nobody pushing in towards mid, and now they're gonna work their way forward. An early paranoia.
Get them off lane.
Where do they go from here? A little bit of spam down through stairs. The spike ticking away. Nags playing up close first. The dash come through, and you already see the spam coming through smokes as well. Meltzer still playing from backside as a couple of members of Cloud9 have fallen. Numbers in favor of Crew here. Zeppa, on the other side of the smoke, only getting 1. That's a round for Crew. That's an excellent start.
A couple of mistakes there from Cloud9, though. Leaf with the missed dash, where he was going to get into the site and actually break up quite a few crossfires. Might have gotten those trades a lot easier for Cloud9. You might have looked at a 5v3 instead of that 3v3 where everybody on Crew was backside. Do have to commend Rooney. Repositioning his orb made that difficult for the Crew players, but there's just way too little time in that case where they all come funneling through B main. These final moments right here. Kesnit, Melzer, everybody's just playing together there. That orb kind of funneled them to play together in that instance. Even though I was saying it was quite good, you can see how little things change the situation.
And that chaotic pistol leaves us in this situation early with no buy for Cloud9. Meanwhile, Crew are not nearly as bunched up as we saw them in the first round.
Well, they're going to dry walk out. I was thinking they're not going to hit this site because the spike is still over towards top mid.
They spot someone there? Did Zelsa see something?
There's 4 players here now for Cloud9. The smoke's coming just in time. They're not going to be able to do this.
I mean, both of them. Both smokes coming through from the attack and the defensive side, forcing this into a bit of a stalemate, at least for the time being.
So they're not going to be able to strike fast, but this wall is something that Crew is going to have to try to decide what to do with, because it's very, very unconventional. It's the first time I'm seeing it in Cloud9 right now. It's a great wall against any sort of cap pressure. You have to clear so many things once you get up and once it's activated, but Rooney's still holding on to that fuel since everybody's grouped up in tree, and that does leave Jake completely isolated here on this B side.
He does have a ghost. But that's all he has so far, and that ghost was enough to get 2.
30 seconds
I'm sorry,
left.
what?
That's a great start for Cloud9.
And this is Eco 9 right here. They're so good in these moments. They got quite a few of them on Pearl in that series yesterday against Sentinels.
They've been able to upgrade 1 weapon at least for Zelsis. He's got the Bulldog now. Nags playing down low, just getting the best of Leaf. Hard in situations like that to convert that into a win. But either way, Cloud9 still with much to do. Zelsis is taking a fair bit of damage. Positioned in a place where if he falls, Rooney can pick up the gun and continue to push his way forward. But the nanos, the delaying of utility from Crew has been so effective. It's buying so much time. And there's the threat. It all falls onto Zeppa, but it's a 1v1. Nags is weak. This is big. 54 HP. Crew wins it out.
Exit stays composed, and he took the first fight on that retake and took the last one too. Really nice job from him to keep the round close, because Jake did such good work by himself. He's in a weird position, but he's still, with just a ghost there, should absolutely not be getting anything. Especially with the fact that they were so comfortable dry walking all the way up. If they did that, they would have found him completely by himself and probably caught unaware. Now though, look at the econ for them. They only have 2 Vandals. We do have 1 purchased up, but this is not going to be easy for them to actually convert this bonus against Cloud9's full weaponry here.
You see the same Viper wall out from Rooney we've talked about in the previous round. It seems like this time they want to explore around it a little bit more. Remember, in the previous round, for the most part, they avoided it.
Oh, there's a flash potentially primed here from Jake that would suppress the ability to hear right there for Leaf to maybe make an updraft dash play to flank.
And if that's not enough, you have Zeppa, who's got a flash close by too. But I don't know that that tagged anyone.
I'm really worried here what Leaf is going to do, especially with Nax still in close mid.
Trailblazer cleared. There's the paranoia you were just referring to. 2 down. That's 3 down. As Cloud9, I cracked the round wide open.
And meanwhile, Cruz is trying to smoke off the turret to get out here while all that's going on. But when the main tip fails, It's not going to be easy to do that. So Cloud9, a really, really nice and clean anti-bonus there. Flawless in the approach. That flash from Jake was such... I mean, look, everybody's blind there. And meantime, Leaf is able to isolate the fight completely alone against Nags. These are the type of trap plays that Cloud9 is really good at. And it's kind of hard to get them set up on Ascent. But you can tell the prep coming in this map already.
What do they have going on here? Leaf looking to explore the middle of the map by himself. Jake once again not far off. He's so aggressive. Look at how much space he's taken. It's just on the other side. He's going to clear the turret too and get away. I mean, he didn't get the kill, but...
Takes what he can get, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be quite a while till Nags gets that back up, and if they need to rely on that for passive flank watching, it's going to be a little difficult for them to get in positions to execute. Either way, they still have this KO ult. Cloud9 is kind of playing the KJ really far back here to make sure he's not getting suppressed by that KO ult. But if he goes up mid and pops it, that suppresses it anyways.
And mid is the place that seems like KRU are looking to fill. Nothing from Cloud9 here to cover it.
I do like this insistence for them to go for this mid multiple times now. Given this wall, I'd try to avoid this at all costs.
It seems like that's what KRU are doing. Seeker's invested. You hear the ult used. Rooney's getting the first onto Kesnet.
Leaf is here too. I don't know if they realize this.
Oh, Nags may not have known, but he took care of him anyway. Seems like it's going to have to be a ferocious attempt to retake from Cloud9 in order to get this site back from KRU. They're up in numbers. They've taken their post-plant positions. The Seekers have been dealt with.
All both post plants that we've seen on this B site have gone to KRU. The pistol and that anti-eco, it was close.
Zeppa has a flash and Jake has a paranoia, so they have some tools to do this. But it's much like what we saw the last time we were in this position. The utility that KRU is using to delay is just so effective. But Zelsis finds an opening, Jake does too, and they get the site back.
Fighting through the smoke there too for Melzer. The way they're able to get all those kills in sync is so nice from Cloud9. And again, despite a missed flash, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a missed flash. That went just around the corner. Didn't tag the player who was playing up close to stairs, but definitely could have flashed the player's backside or forced them to dodge.
I mean, it looked so promising for KRU until Zelsis happened. He just found so much value pushing lane. I mean, and then the counter punch of Jake pushing downstairs at the other side, that left-right combo just overwhelmed KRU.
It's always a tough decision to know which of the back sites entrances to smoke off.
Right, yeah.
In that case, Jake actually smoked the back right, and that actually nullified this one way that was there entirely. It forces KRU completely down to just pistols here in this eco round. See if they can do what Cloud9 did to them.
Interesting that they gave Nags the... Well, never mind. It makes sense now.
And they've gotten the side. So they go 1 for 1.
That paranoia does tag Nags, but, or Kesnet, excuse me, but Cloud9 haven't taken a ton of space, so you gotta be careful because Nags is on the flank, and he is considered, he's dealt with a 3K from Jake to get Cloud9 to 3.
Jake is absolutely stepping up in these first 5 rounds so far.
I mean, even yesterday.
He's been a beast for them in this LCQ. Was a beast for them in the regular season. Not somebody we really expected to perform so well at the tier 1 level, but here he is still competing for a slot at champs. And we do have this switch up on the Viper wall now for Rooney. I think with the insistence for KRU of going up mid, it's definitely something that I want to see, and it actually gives quite a few pockets, both in logs and inside of the switch, where you saw Jake get those 2 ghost kills much earlier on.
You should run.
I wondered how much more depth they had, Rooney had to his walls, because it felt like it was an inevitability that Cloud9 were going to catch on to the fact that they were avoiding this A wall. We'll see how this one plays around. He's out there with the spike, committing to the ult, and now the rest of KRU are going to funnel through.
With that lockdown, it's a really nice play to just go for it. You can get the plan a little faster.
Yeah. And
you also don't have to commit through B main. You can see Klaus completely droning from way far back. Didn't use it to get in the site. He's just droning the flank. When do you see this? He's just trying to keep the drone alive for as long as possible, delay as long as possible.
And I think his positioning here is key because he has a Hunter's Fury. If Zelsis doesn't choose to invest a lockdown, there is a counter to that. So you've got to expect Zeppa to be able to push and guide him off of that because he knows where they're coming from, and there it is. The timing is perfect from Zeppa. He read it so well. Meltzer's now left alone in this 1v5. And that's all it's gonna be.
What a beautiful consideration from Zeppa there. Called it out perfectly. And I mean, that could have been disastrous for Cloud9 if they don't consider that, right? That Hunter's Fury is breaking the lockdown. All of a sudden, the crew players don't have to make plays. And instead, they're sitting there inside of the site, inside of the lockdown radius, scrambling. And we have to talk about Kesnet real quick, because he's been first deaths in a lot of these situations so far. He's not finding the value that we're hoping to. And we were mentioning on the desk about how you don't want to give him any of the Raze maps. Here he is playing on this jet. And it's definitely rough so far.
Cover going out.
Odd that, of course, it was such a highly anticipated matchup between Kesnet and Leaf and who was going to pop off, but it's Big Bean, who's currently leading for Cloud9, and he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Great span there from Melzer. And again, that's his fourth first death, and he had a gun in this instance. They were hero rifling him up.
Leaf with the op, finding Nags. They've taken some tree control, and yeah, they've taken Jake down, but this looks like it should be relatively clean the rest of the way for Cloud9. They pop the blades, swing out, get the kill.
I mean, in that instance, I love that as an investment, right? Keep the op up, right? Because he's under pressure. Yeah, his teammates are joining him, but who knows what his opponent is going to do in an instance. So, and as well, with the bank that he has, I'm perfectly comfortable with that situation, despite it being a 3v1 and normally being like, yeah, no, that's should save your ult, but I like it in that case.
Timeout called for Crew. They find themselves down 5-2 in this opening map. At their map pick, as you mentioned earlier. And I think we've seen a couple of fits that have been caused by
how to deal with this Viper wall. Instead, now they need to consider how to adjust their plans right away. That's a great switch up.
Don't screw it up.
We were talking about the op at the end of the previous round, still in the hands of Leaf, and he's going to be holding B. But it seems like Crew want to work mid. To remember, their exec with the K ult from a couple of rounds ago did at least net them the site. But not with Zelsis here.
That's just off of complete audio there. The turret didn't even fire off.
I think
it's just listening.
Off. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're still threatening some of this presence down mid, though. And they're in a position here where they have some options. But the Seekers invested here by Cloud9 should read things out pretty nicely.
Jake's been in this position multiple times, but Crew has not actually had to face it.
Oh, those Seekers are so persistent. The flash on the other side of the smoke, and Jake looking to reposition, play a little bit closer, but Meltzer's timing is gorgeous.
It's just in time to get the players off. Leaf still finds a kill, though, and it, despite everything, that looks like Crew should have been advantaged. No, the early pick. Down in mid from Zelsis with the Odin.
Still has it. Still working his way out towards the site. He's up in heaven right now. Joined by the other two members of Cloud9. Meltzer playing down low. Leaf cleans him up, leaving Nags by himself.
Starting to roll. They're starting to roll here.
They've been rolling. That's 6 rounds in a row now for Cloud9.
Only the pistol and the anti-eco for Crew. And the anti-eco was a failure in that instance too, despite getting that round.
Yeah.
You can see this snowball happening for Cloud9, and it doesn't have any signs of stopping until potentially some of these ults come up from Crew. And again, they are having success getting it on the site. You can see 3 defuses from Cloud9 there. But holding is tough, and up to this point, Crew's been fantastic in these post plants, but only against their South American opponents.
I'll show you.
Now here, against the favorites in LCQ, they're struggling. Here's that molly. Oh, Pit, actually.
We'll see if they can bully Rooney out of the way. Depends on how fast they want to go. But no, as the Pit settles, they have to go to plan B.
And it's interesting there, you think that maybe they're actually trying to counter that entire idea from Rooney there. But this Pit is brutal. I mean, he can hide down lane. There's no way you can actually take him out. So Kesnet wasted his dash in that instance too.
Meltzer invested his paranoia. It did seem like it was considered that they had a decent idea of what Cloud9 wanted to do, but Rooney was just quicker on the trigger.
And there was also an insta-molly from Zelsis in that situation too to keep them back, so info just missed as they tuck themselves away on Cat. I think they know what's going on though, even still. Look at that one way from Jake.
Leaf has already crept his way over with the op still. Jake is close by. He just spotted one. And
Great
look at the
smoke.
cover, yeah. Leaf just covering for Jake, getting him out of a sticky situation. Very well done.
Look how fast that was, too. As Jake gets washed up. It's just so perfect.
They managed to get the spike down. They have tree control, too.
Davies
All
is
comes down to,
positioning.
yeah, how well Davies can hold this.
Oh, they just closed the door late. They're going to have to spend time breaking while they're fighting and pushing the pinch.
How does Leaf survive that? Kesnet takes down Zelsis. It all falls down on Rooney, a 1v2. And time is of the essence. The dart cleared. He doesn't realize that there's somebody behind him. There's no way you consider something like that. Not in a situation like this. The bullets miss, but Klaus does not.
Finally.
I can hold an area pretty well myself.
Finally some breathing
Make
room
sure
here
to
for
cover
Crew,
the
but it
angles
will
that I
reset
can't.
their economy slightly. His flank from Davies on Cat was perfect, and Melzer considering as well. I love the late door close because it forces Cloud9 to break that because they have to, otherwise they're going to run out of time, and then that's where he strikes. That's when Davies strikes as well. It's perfect. It sets up that pinch so very well.
Melzer's ult, the only one online right now. You see the defensive setup from Zelsis towards B, but Crew leaning A right now. Oh boy. Oh, I thought he was gonna get more. Zeppa does. He cleans it up.
Strike down A.
And so the intention there from Crew is to actually use this space while there's no smoke to try to find a pick onto the two players who were on A, which is a good idea. But Cloud9 is just facing them anyways, and they net themselves a huge advantage in this round when Crew was looking to strike. This is going to be terrible if Crew lose this round. I mean, they're going to get reset economically. They're going to go back down to only the 1.9K that you get in this instance.
The moment's so heavy, but they're so painfully outnumbered.
Enemy remaining.
And it's just gone from bad to worse. Meltzer had to use his ult just to recover the spike to get them into a decent situation. But he seems to have found a timing to be able to get the spike down. Rooney playing this a bit more safely, takes a step back, allows B to go up, knowing they're up in numbers.
Spike planted.
And he missed the silent jump there, which forces him to just go for the plant instead. He could have maybe found a sneak attack onto Rooney.
That flashback sight confirming that he isn't out proper and he's got to be exactly where that molly is. Now 54 HP for the remaining member of Crew. And a shorty in the face. Cleans him up.
Two more rounds to go here, but I mean, at least they got that spike plant. I'm looking at Kesnet's money right now, 2.7K. That could definitely be an indication that he might have knives. Either way, this was so well done from Cloud9. There's not a one-way or anything like that, so they're able to easily get through, but it's baiting them forward for it.
I believe that's the second shorty kill that we've seen from Leaf in the last 2 rounds.
Look at the eco here. It's complete shambles. Classic 2 sheriffs. Hero buy from Kesnet. Hero buy from Davies as well. They can make this work, but against the op from Leaf, the Odin on Rooney, who they've swapped it up, by the way. It's not always the same person, so it's really difficult to tell.
Yeah, it was Zelsis a couple of rounds ago. Now it's Rooney, as you mentioned. And he gets a kill.
Yep.
That was by himself, too. There was nothing to set that up. No confirmation of information, no flash, nothing.
And he also does it from the top of the default box inside of B there, rather than up close, which makes it really difficult to punish back. And you get a better angle. Not necessarily a better angle, but a different one at that.
Still 2 rifles up for Crew, for Kesnet and for Davies. Also worth noting here, the different setup that Cloud9 are using with Killjoy. They've got the alarm bot and a nano mid with Zelsis close by. And it seemed like Melzer was going to try to find some space there. But instead, opts to go Cat. That dash running out of time. Puts himself in the tiniest of angles. Nothing to have to clear at the dart. He's still in a good position. It looks like he's just waiting for that flash to come through, knowing what could be on the other side, but Davies doesn't have one. All he had was that knife. There it is, the dash out into the cloudburst. He tries to fill the space, but he's already dead.
What's going on?
Leaf's looking for another. There it is. He needed the shorty kill, and he got it. 3 for 3 on those.
Last round before
And the
switch.
final round of the half to make this a super strong half for Cloud9. This defense has been very nice so far. 8-4 would be good, 9-3 would be great.
You know, there are instances, especially on Ascent, where you look at a scoreline like this and say, well, that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story, you know, what have you. Sure. In this case, it really does. The timeline and the score tell you everything that you need to know.
When you look back to Crew's game against Fury on this map, Crew had a fantastic attack side. It was nothing like this at all. In fact, they just dominated both halves of that map.
Yeah. A far cry from the Crew we've seen for the last 3 matches. Leaf playing just on the other side of his wall. Spots a shoulder, not able to land the shot, has to get away. The Hunter's Fury invested from Klaus.
No tags.
No, nothing at all.
Seekers as well, the delay. They get the information set up. And Jake perfectly.
What a cheeky spot. They invested the Trailblazer and everything because they wanted to take this fight to Crew.
Crew's not quite done with it yet. Despite the fact that Klaus missed every single pulse. Lockdown may be spammable if Rooney gets close enough, but Kesnet just jumps up. And we've got a game yet, 8-4. Again, good half from Cloud9, but Crew, I mean, they strike back, and they were getting on the side, so some of their plans were working very well, but definitely feels like Cloud9 still in.
If he can be on the Raze role, but now his team desperately needs him to come online, desperately needs him to find some value on this star role. And it's going to be tough treading, man. Again, in the face of a double controller, that's going to be difficult.
I think it has to come down to getting him an op really, really early.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about defensive sideness on this map, but looking at Crew's past history, I was referencing their game against Furia in a 9-3 half in that game on attack. So this might be really tough. We didn't get quite to see too much of the defensive half, but Cloud9 waiting out any util that could come outside of B there, now smoking off Nags. Just trying to get a ghost shot off the turret.
Yeah. It's just going to be a full take of the site, and they've left Zeppa playing around mid. No utility, but he's going to be there to cut off rotation.
This is really slow for these mid players right now. It's going to take quite some time finally breaking that turret. Zeppa with a frenzy. They don't check this.
They know now. Oh, dear. Well.
But this is taking so much time. I mean, we've already spent like 20 seconds just getting these players up into B main right now.
Yeah, just setting up for the fight. You're right.
And he's already ready for them. I mean, Leaf is already marking out, pinging where the dart is going to land because he knows where Klaus is coming from.
There it is.
He missed it. Just went off the map.
Time is so short right now. I don't know that Crew are going to have enough time to do this. And now the Leaf's still playing on site. They desperately needed the pistol, and it does not go their way.
And again, the desk highlighted Kesnet. His rough performance so far. He was 0-6 in that first half in first deaths. Now again, the first death in this round is Zeppa right here, just not clearing his corner. And yeah, I mean, that's a tough angle to kind of expect, but when you've done nothing on the map, you have to be diligent. And if you're not diligent, that's what happens. At this point, Leaf is getting kills, it's cool, but the round's over.
Right,
it's already over based on the time.
Crew choosing not to force. Same Viper wall that we're seeing, that we saw in the previous round from Rooney.
Yeah, that's just a complete AXEC wall. It definitely allows you to get a little bit more space on the orb. And well, this might be over quick here.
Yeah, no real fight. Even the small nuance, like Zelsis going down low, Leaf having the high ground, this high-low in an unexpected position.
A dynamic one at that with the updraft is so crazy. He's actually firing off that Guardian too. I mean, shoot your shot. And again, Kesnet first to die. Yeah, they were leading an aggressive push on the eco, so we kind of expected in that case. Sacrificial lamb to catapult into maybe a few more.
Yeah.
But look at the difference from that pistol round clearing the corner against Zeppa. They didn't do it for Crew. Whereas Cloud9, when they get those first 2 kills, they're still diligent in clearing the rest of it. Look at this, guns are all out. Flash even for B main, so this guy's completely blind for a minute. And both players running around that corner ready to take that high-low like you pointed out.
And then we still had Rooney with the Sheriff kill. A complete round for Cloud9.
Had it all. They're thinking about how they might have needed this one. And this is tough for Crew. I mean, they've been kind of sun running so far. Statistically, I mean, they've definitely beat up on some teams. Like Lev. How does he get that? I mean, Davy's definitely over-peaking, trying to get that knife out for some reason, instead of just using a safer approach. And they get it before that knife even pops. They break the knife too. I mean, just ridiculous. An orb also added into this execute. There's still 2 players here though. And I'm wondering if they collected information about the Odin on the other side of the map. There again, remember, we talked about how KRU went for this pick. Same outcome though, this time for KRU.
Weave, Blades online.
Right click him maybe.
He wants to go.
Ooh.
And Zeppa swings out at the same time. Once again, you're seeing dynamic peaks out from Cloud9, overwhelming the opposition. 2v2 here, Cloud9 have gotten the site. They have the spike. They are getting it planted.
Spike planted.
A Phantom and an Odin in the hands of the defense. And the drone now out.
Oh no, Zeppa can't get spammed here. Ooh.
Ow, just barely. Still a dart for Klaus. He's looking for another target, anyone to get lit up. He can bring the pain and punish, but Leaf with 3. The Guardian still in play. Nags gets it to a 1v1, but Zeppa cleans it up.
Bonus converted, and this might be a fast lane here.
Let's leave whatever happens
Towards map
in the
2.
past.
Yeah.
Towards Cloud9's map pick. KRU has to force up here. And again, that was actually a good start from them, despite the fact that they lost the first kill. Mells are able to clap right back as Cloud9 continue to try to push the advantage on the site without a smoke there.
I mean, fully flashed, and he gets 2.
Just gross. Coming into this series in LCQ, KRU, best gun round team, best retake team. So far, they've only won the 2 gun rounds on that defense.
It's been brutal scenes. Kesnet with the Guardian trying to find an early pick as Cloud9 trampled their way forward, and Leaf does eventually fall. But now without Melser meeting his death either. KRU just so far away here. Nax is still just working across the middle of the map, and Kesnet's left in this fight where he's having to deal with so many different targets without any help.
There's a flood attempt there from KRU, but it's splintered because of the mollies from Rooney. Finally, he falls, and they're going to try to push this lockdown.
Oh, Jake.
Success so far.
3v2. Cloud9 gotten it down to a 2v2 now. Zelsis still dancing around. Not many bullets left in the clip. And it's all going to be on to Zelsis. Takes a step back. Gets pressured. Still finds time to reload. Davies, half, pulls off. Zelsis with the Red Bull clutch. That's got to be a dagger.
Match point.
They should not have won that. Absolutely should not have won that. When that lockdown went down, you thought for sure Zelsis was also going to get traded out too. This flood attempt there. You can see Kesnet's out by himself.
Yeah.
Just by himself. It's because of the orb and molly that Rooney's throwing. I mean, they have this insistence on placing this wall, and it's working really nice on the safe side. KRU's got to find an answer and fast, and they're going to have to do it with light weaponry too. They're going to be a bunch of C-to... Ooh, early pick again from Leaf.
Davies already dead.
It's the same situation too, where he's trying to throw his knife.
Klaus finding a little bit of something. You see Kesnet tried getting high ground over the cover. Couldn't find any value.
Relying on a judge to save the game here, and it might pay off here. The rotate is coming in. He's not able to punish Leaf. Finally, it goes his way. KRU.
But even if Nags gets, I mean,
The stun.
it's considered. The Trailblazer was well done.
And look at the pivot back immediately, and there's no info here for KRU. The smoke as well. Just got placed down on both sides.
The benefit is Melser does have his ult too, so they can flip map, potentially if need be.
Right now, they're walking inside a spawn. They're completely unsure about where they are.
Yeah.
Now with the spike coming, they're going to start to realize. But because they've walked all this way, they could surprise him out of heaven right now. Still, Rooney with this molly. It's such good delay.
He still has 1 molly. Zelsis still has 2 nanos and the turret.
And the wall's going to come back up too. Fuel takes a long time in this patch. But with that molly, it pushes them back, and he's probably going to activate now.
And time just ticks away. Desperation for the side of KRU. And a huge moment, it's going to fall down to a 1v1. Rooney is pit.
Fake TP.
Can't imagine he uses it here. Tucks on the angle, waiting for the swing, and Rooney wins it out. The 3K to get Cloud9 map 1.
And it's a flawless attack side. And an absolutely flawless game here on Ascent from Cloud9. Last time that KRU played this map against Loud. They did win. It was their only win on this map throughout the regular season, and it looked great, but they were playing with Davies on the bench. He had an injury at that point, so Nags was playing the KJ, and you had a much different instance here on the harbor, too. Melzer had to float over to pick up that Viper.
The benefit, though, of tournaments like this is that it really just comes down to who has the hot hand. Any team can catch fire and make a run, and that's what KRU's done up until this point, but they have finally met an obstacle, an opponent that seems to be able to slow them down, and it's because of things like that. They even had the nano prep for where they thought Kesnet was going to updraft onto, and it was perfect.
Yeah, delays any plant too. They will finally get it down, but they've used a lot to get to this position and see if they can actually get the kills in the back of sight. Yes, they are.
Well done by Nags and Melzer, but they need to find more. Nags' position there is so pretty. Just tucking barely behind that corner of the wall so you can isolate the gunfights.
And even before that, those initial volley of kills, the first two landed on Zeppa and Zelsis.
Poison's off.
That was two key people to retake in this instance. He had the Cove. That was basically their only shot now. Jake is... Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's flashing dead. You're absolutely right. A 3K for Nags as KRU gets the pistol. And it was often, you know, you go back to Ascent, you think about, yes, it's a different map, the comps are different, but one of the things that Cloud9 excelled in was in retakes and how they were able to just snatch the site back from KRU because of that huge 2K from Nags, and then it ultimately ended up being a 3K. They weren't able to do that. They weren't even able to make an attempt, really.
You got to remember back on Ascent too, though, it's the same situation on the pistol, right? It was a full retake for Cloud9, exactly the same, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
And KRU ended up taking that. And that's because Cloud9 kind of went for a little gamble here. Yeah, they had the KJ on this side, but everybody else was over towards B. And one person covering mid. Let's see if they can eco at least do a little damage like they did on that first. It's not coming through. That cascade really difficult to get through, despite this really interesting high tide out of Zelsis.
That was off the back of an early flash, too, over the top from Zeppa, but it was a Bulldog that just caused way too many problems. And now KRU in a position to potentially put Cloud9 away pretty cleanly. They do drop one weapon. How much more do they drop? A second?
He's also been low HP this entire time. Still gets two. Gonna reposition to try to get himself a third. This is something that Cloud9 is so good at, is constantly damaging. Even when they're not winning these eco rounds, constantly taking two guns down here, taking two guns down there. Keeps it much harder for KRU to actually stay in the game economically.
Well, I mean, to go back to Ascent, you remember their third round after they had won the second, they had two rifles that KRU brought in, and it was because of how much damage Cloud9 were able to deal.
So it's not quite the canceled bonus that we saw in Ascent, but still a little bit of damage done. Actually, it's going to be Melzer as well, who only had a pistol in that round, so it's not even the biggest of deals. They're able to carry everything. See, the initial fight is, well, that's a great shot from Klaus through the high tide of his teammate Melzer. There's a big bonus here. KRU need to get the momentum swinging back. Remember, it's been rough form for some of the star players, specifically Kesnet. Des talked a lot about how they got to start winning these first engagements. Let's see how this very first one goes here on this bonus.
The early flash, the cascade, the prowler, excuse me, to make sure there's no one pushing down B.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because that flash that you saw should have actually confirmed that there was nobody back there. They still use the dog, still use the Trailblazer. Now they're not going to be able to actually scale up behind this Viper wall at this point.
And that's exactly where Cloud9 are. The pop flash on the other side, and all three of them are standing there, but they somehow still get every kill.
That's the type of thing that Cloud9 has huge success with, and you can tell they're really confident in it. But in this instance, when they already got some key pieces of util out, you should probably allow this to play slightly differently. Leaves Leaf and Rooney in a tough position.
He's gotten it to be interesting. 45 HP though. Rooney's still close by.
I suggest you move.
Wow.
They invest the Reckoning early here. He has to dance around the pulses of the ult, the Viper utility, and the bullets from Nags too, and it's just way too much to deal with. Rooney's not able to do much more. KRU win the bonus.
I have to say as well, some of the key rounds that KRU have won so far in the series, commend Nags on him. He's been really, really good, stepping up a little bit here.
Wow.
For them. at least in this series, and LCQ in general too. Really well handled out of KRU. That's the problem with Sky. A lot of times you look for trying to go for those pop flashes like that and you get no value. Everybody was looking at it, but they're able to turn it so easily. And now we're gonna have a slight investment here on this eco for Cloud9. You got 2 Stingers and a Marshall from Jake.
It looks like he's gonna be pushed first. Again, it's the same protocols out from KRU to take B long. Same ones that we saw in the previous round. Jake was taking a little decay damage here to try to find a timing window to deal some damage. Has to take a step back though.
The thing here now, despite the fact that they use that Trailblazer, they still have the Seekers, so even if they want to initiate, they have those tools. It's a different situation entirely. Nice shot from Jake, gets some damage done. He's gonna get healed back up, but he's still 1 shot to that Marshall with no armor.
This little box here, one of the changes to the map.
Forcing him out with the molly. It missed though.
Just a little short. Gotta hit the weights, bro. They're gonna creep back into this, and you're right, the class still has the Seekers. There they go, invested off the harbor wall too.
How about that molly? I mean, it's just covering everything. They can't get through it.
There's no way for them to get past it. Well done by Jake.
30 seconds left.
He's still with the Marshall, not getting a second tag, not getting a kill. It's been labored out from KRU, but seems like they should be able to get what they want regardless. Leaf was such a pesky nuisance there.
That got a dink as well.
One enemy remaining.
It's going to be clean though from KRU eventually. Very well handled. And those are the type of moments where I'm actually expecting Cloud9 to take some map control elsewhere. Leaf, instead, just stuck behind the regular play that they were going for game so far. And there hasn't really been mid-presence from KRU.
Yeah, so I'm surprised to see Leaf there, but I mean, it's clear as day. It seems like this is the round the KRU want to explore this area of the map.
It's passive from him. Not approaching into mid, which definitely could catch Kesnet off guard right here. This angle's tough.
There it is. Kesnet dropped. We'll get a quick update on how the woes have been with Kesnet on these first bloods, or these first duels, but that one's certainly not helping his case. Second cascade used from Melser towards Art.
Kesnet is currently 0-9 of those first engagements, so you asked for the update, and it's dire.
Yeah, it's a tough day.
And that's with 4 KRU rounds here. You would expect him in one of those to have gotten the first kill. Leaf gets caught out though because of that Trailblazer forcing him back, and the orb is not up in time there for Jake. A little bit of a misplay and miscommunication. Cost Leaf the op. Zeppa picked it up though.
He is playing close by, exactly where KRU are playing towards. Now confirmation as to where they are. You see the harbor utility go up. Zeppa puts the op down, switches over to the Vandal.
It's really important right now for the Cloud9 players to listen here close, because
30 seconds left.
there's alert coming in here. All the way for Nags. He's close to Zelsis, but the wall is perfect. And they're gonna have to pivot. 20 seconds right now. Zelsis can do it all. Rooney still has mollies here as well. All the delay right now.
And that might be what comms. He still has a way to get out. He still has a way to tuck to safety, reposition, live to fight another day, and that day is now, but he's not able to get a single kill. Delays for just a moment, but the spike still goes down. Klaus weak. Now Cloud9 with 3 members remaining have to try to take this back. KRU have assumed their post-plant positions. They've gotten backside. They have 2 playing there, and Klaus and Melser. How do Cloud9 get back into this? Wait out some of the utility and then decide to pounce and go, but Zeppa gets dealt with execution style. Cloud9 falls. That's a 5th round in a row for KRU.
And the KRU fans starting to light up a little bit. Hope here. That Pearl might be the same story in reverse. This was a 5v4 for Cloud9. Rounds that they were converting easily on a set. They had over a 90% win rate on those. This time, it's not coming through. Great mid-round from KRU. And Zelsis tried to make the hero play. With 8 seconds left, he could have denied that plant. And maybe even gone for more, but the flash gave up his position, so they kind of knew it was coming.
He also had to tank a Viper, Molly, and a Nano, too. So much for him to navigate.
It's been really tough going for Cloud9 to get some of these ults online. Now they have 3 of them. But it's still a shoddy buy. We've known them to invest quite a lot. Look how far out they are, though.
Jake feeling some pressure. He is a Guardian. He was one of the few real differences when it comes to weaponry other than pistols, and it falls. Picked up by Zelsis.
Oh no, he's spammable here.
Yeah.
While stunned up. No plant coming in yet for KRU though, so quite a lot of time wasted.
One dead.
Klaus is working the site beautifully though.
Lethal Blades could be everything here. Zeppa's gotten one too. The Cove protecting Melsa for now. That flash in his face. Does he go? Doesn't have any mobility really. He has to wait it out. As soon as he looks down for the Cloudburst, he gets swung on.
Player standing.
Pit in, Leaf down. A 3K for Nags and 6 for KRU.
Nags is dominating so far in this one. What a good decision there.
He's 10-0.
Talk about a hero here. On this second map. What a start for the highly criticized player from KRU.
Right there.
Just so much room to work in that Cove, man.
And again, Klaus as well. Got to commend him too. Backside there.
Enemy remaining.
Huge vets on this team. He gets the entry there while Kesnet is actually clearing back over towards Art. And we're gonna look at more at a little default here from KRU. Up trapped as well, possible here from Kesnet. No, he's looking for Art. Trying to see above that wall from Zelsis. Look at the exploration here from Zeppa. He's very deep behind. Oh, that was dangerous. He was going for the pick on B, but he exposed himself there to Zeppa.
And he swings back and takes him down.
That is his first kill. Finally coming through in the entire series.
Round 7 of the second map.
A lot has been said about Kesnet. A lot has been said about how this run might have been dubbed Kesnet and Friends up to this point, but now, right now, KRU is striking back on the second map without a strong performance from Kesnet.
This might be where the spark starts. This might be where the momentum begins. The Reckoning invested from Cloud9 as it seems like KRU are trying to take this site with Reckoning of their own. You see them pass by one another. Ult still in play. Jake trying to hold them back on his own. And Davies just clotheslines them.
Really good pinch there. And again, a 20-second plant. Lockdown invested. That's really not going to gain them that much, especially with this counter lockdown plays from Davies.
Feels like it's just going to throw a pause on the round for a little bit.
Oh, he's going to try to get half.
It's going to be ahead of it here.
Yeah, he gets
got it to
half. He's detained now, though. They're going to definitely take him out in Art.
There it is, the easiest kill of Melser's life. Rooney and Zelsis.
They have a Cove. This Cove could easily get another half here. End the round.
And it seems like that's what he's trying to do, but it instantly gets taken care of. You see the nanos are all set up. Zelsis made an attempt on it. Now he's left alone. He's got a tap. He's gotten it down to 1. I thought the transfer was there, but Nags cleans it up again. I think he still hasn't died. 11-0, 12-0 at this point. 11-0.
That is disgusting.
Quedan 30 segundos.
This is disgusting. This entire map is absolutely amazing out of KRU right now. We just saw them get stomped on Ascent. That was their map pick. Now they're going to Cloud9's. And again, we talked a lot about how KRU needed to try to get towards Kesnet's raise maps. Here, it's not his at all. And they're up 7-0. Cloud9 rarely goes down this hard because they're so good on the ecos. And now we see a situation again where there's in this eco.
See Rooney tucked with the stinger. They're already pretty far ahead of this. Leaf is already here. Jake is not far off. Zeppa's not either.
What?
Oh, he got caught back there.
There was a
Molly and
double
a nano.
Molly. Yeah.
And we've seen that combo in that exact same spot before.
Well, that's really different here. As Melzer gets another pick. Because of the back corner here. You want to try to tuck yourself in there, and it's,
Enemy remaining.
I mean, just beautiful. To explain that, Rooney was tucked himself all the way up into the back of backhaul there. And the double Molly forces him out, but kills him instantly. It melts with that vulnerable applied.
This has been clinical from KRU. All this talk about Kesnet on the Jet versus the Rays and what it's going to be. But Nags has been the hero for KRU so far.
I mean, this is crazy. Emotionally, I'm getting torn to shreds back and forth. I mean, I thought this was about to be a wipe. I thought, yeah, okay, KRU, you had a good run. But
Yeah.
what I just saw, yeah, no chance you come back in this one. And here they are, not just coming back, but
Stomping.
doing disgusting things to their opponent.
I believe that's the second flawless round out from KRU that we've had just in this half. And remember, Cloud9 have already used the timeout. They used the timeout when they were down, what, 4 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So
Remaining.
questions to be answered here for MC. Does he dare call another timeout and let him go the rest of the way? Does he trust his team in this situation, down as big as they are? Seems like he's going to hold on to it for now. Leaf with the op once again. I believe this is the 3rd time he's had that op, and he hasn't found a ton of value.
Well, finally, he's going towards a different position here,
Yeah.
up B long.
He'd been A, he'd been mid. First time he's here.
Cascade through, but now that it finds contact, it makes sense for Klaus to actually put down this Trailblazer, and it might actually expire. No, okay. Does spot Leaf. There's a gap in the front of this. There it is from Kesnet.
Second first kill, if I'm not mistaken.
Ultimate ready.
And it's on a pivotal player. We were just highlighting the op. Now it just sits harmlessly on the ground. The spam through everything is going right for KRU right now, man.
That's another kill back all when you don't expect it, and Jake might even get taken down. Trying to rotate around.
If you hadn't been watching KRU throughout this LCQ because you were lulled to sleep by their regular season performance, I don't know that I blame you. But what we've seen in this first half has been their LCQ run so far. It's been stuff like this. It's been Kesnet has been popping off, but it's been instances like that where it feels like everything is just going right, where it seems like they can do no wrong.
I look at this early reckoning as well. Used actually to
30
clear
seconds left.
some of aim in there. And Cloud9 is completely committing towards this B side because they already know they want to save the op online.
Blocking fire.
But once again, a gamble that does not pay off. Surprising to see them make it too with the pit there. I would have expected to somebody get ahead of the play over here towards A. And KRU's gonna hunt.
I mean, they've got the money for it. You see it on the right side of your screen there. Everyone sitting comfortable.
Okay.
So yeah, go hunt. Go see what weapons you can take out of the hands of Cloud9, who are already down, who are already beaten. Perhaps you can put him 6 feet under. What can Cloud9 do? I mean, this is so desperate. They need to preserve these weapons. One is already fallen.
Player
That's the
standing.
second. It's all into Jake now, and he's got the big one. Can he stay alive? Can he keep the op? Position given away. Feeling some pressure. Melser up high, and the op is down.
We might.
Don't say it. don't say it. I mean, what a run from KRU, man.
Welcome to my world.
And this is some of what we were talking about, right? A couple of rounds ago when we first saw Leaf get that op online, and maybe that's why he hadn't been exploring B.
Remaining.
There's just so much that KRU can throw at his lap. That's just so difficult to navigate around. And yeah, he maybe overstays a little bit and tries to hold that cheeky angle with the op, but he decides to go back, tries to re-explore.
Down to 3 Guardians here. Cloud9 even losing faith in the classic buy from them that nets them so much success on these eco rounds. KRU's been I mean, they've forced a lot of eco rounds out of Cloud9 right now.
They've had plenty of chances.
And almost all of them have been really, really nice from KRU every single time. And they're starting to rely a little bit on this B side. Look at this advanced high tide. Normally this is the one that goes all the way in the back. But instead, you're actually seeing them try to separate and segment out the back of halls. Remember how many picks they've been getting there.
Seems like they want to go back mid.
Okay, that's important right there. That flash just pinged Nags. So that indicates to Cloud9 that you're really going to stay over more towards the rest of the B side, and immediately Nags is rotating off in this case. And we do have a deep alarm bot from Rooney, which gives them some confidence that they're not coming through A main. This turret's going to give early information. But look, The high-tech segments everything off sewers. And flowers as well. Do they have a follow-up cascade? Yes, they do. They're not using it, looking for picks instead on secret.
Flooding them.
One player currently posted up a dugout. The spike has been planted. Rooney playing around with the Sheriff. There's just so much to look at here. There's so much utility. You see the code. Rooney doesn't even get a chance to fire the weapon. Again, indicative about how dominant of a performance it's been by KRU. Leaf at least keeping a flawless away, but Kesnet, I mean, all of KRU have awoken.
Not a single round here from Cloud9.
One of my creatures. It's a good thing,
After
right?
a 13-4 stomp on Ascent by them, this is what happened. Do I have permission now to speak the words?
I still feel like it's too early. You know, it's like when a perfect game is happening in baseball, you don't talk about it. You just don't say it because you don't want to curse it. We're flirting with it, though.
This is crazy out of KRU. And I mean, we're already approaching the territory where the game is over. Despite what happens in the future, it's 10. The best half Cloud9 could get is a 10-2 half. We're into the round. Finally getting aggressive here, but the turret's already positioned from Davies. And sure, he might have been isolated, but does give up the orb. And because actually about that buy that we had from last round, Cloud9, a lot of Guardians invested. They're still low econ. And they're not going to be able to get an op up in the last round.
I mean, they don't even have armor on Leaf.
It's a glass cannon. Guardian. This is ridiculous.
Note that Zelsis, because he was able to get that orb, he has the Reckoning online, so they've both invested Seekers. Zelsis still with his ult.
Wow. Great job from Zelsis there to actually deny this pinch. The Reckoning's coming in as well. They're going to have to force him to spawn here. Is it going to work out from KRU? Yes! Both kills.
Rooney really and Leaf were both in such a good spot to trap KRU in with the Reckoning, just causing havoc above them. But they were just pushed over.
Look at this insert too as well. Nags is coming into the backside right here in A main. He's going to be able to pinch these two players on site so easily.
It's all about these fights that are happening on site, and you have to keep an eye on the clock too, because Jake, who's now going to be showing up on this late flank, by the time he arrives, the play's over.
Look at the discipline out of KRU. They could have continued to push into spawn there and actually rotate over towards B instead. They wait for that long flank to come in from Davies. Clinical.
Where was this KRU? Where was this KRU in map 1?
And where has Cloud9 gone?
Yeah.
Last round in the half.
It's like they've swapped seats.
Not a single one.
Someone's in defender spawn.
Makes me think of the conversation that Sean and Baby Bay were having on the desk round, how this map just plays so different from Ascent, and maybe that was it. Maybe that was just like the perfect recipe that KRU needed.
And I'm feeling like a fool in my conversation at the start of this map about how the adjustments for KRU didn't look like they were coming in, since we hadn't seen their Pearl in a while and we're seeing the same comp run from them. Instead, it's looking incredibly well drilled. Even the reaction there. And there's a first pick.
It's interesting too, this cascade is so deep, the one that Zelsis just used, and they filled behind it.
Doug, I have to say it at this point. We are approaching the territory where this is going to be a 13-0 for KRU. Maybe a flawless half. Lockdown's gone out. The crowd is asking for the 13-0.
It certainly has all the makings of it. This will inevitably be the route. No, never mind. Never mind.
There's time here. They're not going to be able to punish Leaf at all, but he gets stunned up with this too. Time running down.
2 back there. You see the first
Leaf
nano
has knives. Oh, what a flash.
Flash out from Klaus. They're both right next to each other. Leaf getting one with the blades, the second not falling. And that's 12 for KRU. My goodness, we thought we saw a stomp on Ascent. This is a proper beating.
We focus.
I don't know that there's going to be much to focus on at this point.
The LATAM audience are cheering it right now. 13-0.
Oh yeah, a little English sprinkled in there too. But the crowd asking for it.
They're going for it. Aggressive. KRU has it on their mind too. They're going to get a flank off on Cloud9 right now. The players are rotating over towards A while the one Harbor is investigating what's going on B. He hears him now running back. Melzer gets a free kill here.
Unless Jake does something about it. He does. Problem is, it's not Nags. Final boss is still up. Look at the aggressive position that they've taken. Again, 2 members down for Cloud9, just like that.
The time is ticking, though. They got to clear. Oh, flash up.
Dude, what on earth did we just watch?
And somehow it's a 3v2. Kesna gets it. 3v1. Leaf to hold off the 13-0.
To avoid being on the wrong side of history, he's gotten into a 1v1, 15 HP left.
There's no time right now for Klaus. He has to make a play.
He's got to push it. Oh, he decides to go back. He decides to go back, and Leaf's just playing with him. Can he get the kill? Oh, 13. Oh, avoided. And the Red Bull clutch for Leaf.
Ending.
They absolutely flirted with disaster, didn't they?
Enemy remain.
Leaf, a big 1v3. But I got to think of the Russell Westbrook scores 3. Crucial 3-pointer down 42 points. That's all I think of. That's all I think of.
Right, well, we've extended this just a little bit longer. We'll see how long this lasts, though. I mean, crew are patient with it, too. They're not forcing. They're just sticking to pistols. Given the lead that they have, they decide they want to play this out the slow way, the cautious way. And it seems like Cloud9 are going to be able to get down onto B, get the spike down.
Spike planted.
There was tension in the air at the beginning of that half to see if it could happen. Now we're just in this waiting pattern to see when crew can close this out. See if they can do some damage here on this eco of their own. Haven't been in this position much this game.
This looks like it's going to be pretty clean out from Cloud9, all things considered. Nag's the only one alive, and he's been good, but I don't know about 1v4 good with the Sheriff.
All targets clear.
Second round for Cloud9. See, man, this is why we don't talk about things like 13-0s.
Take them out before they
Why?
even pull them.
Because then Leaf pulls off a 1v3 in the pistol, and it's
I'm happy. No, that's great. What are you talking about? Just
Nags has already died 2 more times. I mean, what is this?
what do you It's not my fault. I just talk about the situation at hand.
See what the buy looks like for crew. Yep, full rifles, just light armor on Nags. But full armor the rest of the way. You see Kesnet already getting pushed off at that angle.
Yeah, Flash gives weird information, though. And this is what Wyatt, Sean, everybody was talking about. Baby Bay talking about how you don't want to give time for Kesnet to actually heat up. He's going for more. That's a little overcooked, but
It looked like he was just going for the jugular there.
that molly actually prevents Leaf from following up. What is that shot? Maybe it's Leaf who's got to heat up.
And Melser just walked into the molly too. Tried to play with a really small timing window.
Toxins going up.
3v3. All members of crew are healthy, except for Klaus. Now he's dead. And an early reckoning. Jake is very weak here, just 19 HP, and the spike ticks away. Dave, he's trying to keep them back. You see Nags is repositioned. He's going to try to get an angle up on Heaven. But there are 2 members from Cloud9 back sight. There's really nothing he can do from that angle. So through all of that time that was invested in him repositioning it all, so it's all for naught.
It's a save. Reluctant cheers in the crowd for Cloud9's attempt here at extending this game as long as possible. Waiting now to see exactly what crew is going to decide to do after losing that bonus. These are the sort of situations where you could definitely start to get rolled on a little bit and losing any sort of momentum here. But whether or not they close out, or when they do, the longer this goes, the farther away you get from that sense of ecstasy you would have had after winning a 13-0 map. And after getting dominated in that first map, that would have been a complete shift on both sides, right? Completely crumpled mental for Cloud9 and a absolutely elated crew. But look at that updraft with the dog as well coming in. That is disgusting from casting it through the window.
That was so freaking cool. But Leaf just cleans him back up. We're gonna have a filthy fight out in art here as you see the crossfire set up and Cloud9 walks away victorious.
I mean, the last 3 rounds, it felt like Kesnet does something really, really nice to get an early entry. And then Leaf just absolutely blows up on the rest of his team.
You see the position from Jake. As Nags just carefully and quietly passes by. Doesn't realize he's walking into what is a bit of a trap. The 3 members of Cloud9 have him entirely surrounded. And he has literally no knowledge of where they might be.
Yep.
Takes down Leaf.
Look at Jake flanking too. He's got the safety valve here.
Yeah. He's been sitting there for so long, and as Nags shows himself, that's the moment where Jake decides to strike. 4 rounds in a row here for Cloud9.
And Leaf as well. I mean, every round, that's like multiple 3Ks in a row early on in the half. Could have swung some things, but the key ones for crew are just not there. The
It's now
KJ ult, the Harbor ult, those things are really crucial.
Wave crashing.
Early Harbor wall up from Elser and the flash from Clouds to confirm that there's no one pushing mid. There's also passive info from Rooney's turret. So because of that, they can focus on the extremities of the map.
Yeah, somebody has to break this turret in mid if you're gonna go for this high tide. Otherwise, it just gets free information that nothing is happening. And
right.
I do like what Crew did there to try to disrupt some sort of plan here. Trailblazer checks on Leaf. No pressure down below. What a swing. And that is, I mean, you just took down the most important player. What a play from Nags. And the confidence to go for that is crazy high.
I mean, after the first half that he had. I don't know that I blame him. Yeah, he's been quiet the last 4 rounds, but
both Seekers popped right now, and a lot of them went towards that A side, but they were very close to it, so I don't think you expect many more. Meanwhile, the Seeker is coming all the way towards this B side for Crew from Klaus.
I mean, even the timing on Crew's utility here, Melser gets the high tide up right before the Viper wall goes down. So there's no gap in coverage. But now Cloud9 using some of their own.
I like this from Zelsis, a very shallow wall so that he could potentially get this plant down with 25 seconds is really important. Cove can be used. Followed up high Cascade as well so they could push backside.
And still playing in an unconventional position. Melser looking to get the second, somehow does. This might be it.
This is it.
Yeah, they finally put them away.
All you got to do is take down one singular Leaf.
Oh. All right. Rooney made it exciting at the end there, but a little labored. Crew finally take down Cloud9 on Pearl. But it was not without flirting with history for a little while first.
And they've been
switched into this position, knowing they have the chamber in the hands of Davies to help cover things up. It's just really interesting.
Let's get this pistol round underway. Crew is starting on this attacking side. Cloud9 to defend.
Well, we didn't even talk about the Viper. There's just so much.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to consider. Normally you see Viper Harbor being played, but instead, Jake's still sticking with his Omen. Insta-B hit here from Crew. And once again, it's going to be a full 5v5 retake that you're seeing fast from Cloud9 here. The Trailblazer comes in the paranoia as well. They could easily start to tap this early.
I didn't think they were going to commit to this, but they flash out. They want to take the fight. They're going to push out mid. Holy smokes, Jake.
He's midair.
That was gross.
And they're sticking. No, they're sticking.
What?
And it's another 1v3 from Leaf on the pistol, too.
Okay, Sky, get us to a good
Just
position.
ridiculous. And that's because of that speed. The fact that they're able to get half before Crew is even really set up to start to challenge back against the defuse is crazy fast.
All of that while he's getting it to half, Jake is flying across the screen, getting ghost kills and whatnot. It was just such a chaotic moment, but you can tell the intention was there for Cloud9. As soon as the spike went down, they decided they wanted to flood, they wanted to fight mid, and it works out for them.
And it's gonna be really interesting to see how this double Sentinel comp actually is able to fight through and look for picks on this attacking side.
It's interesting too. I didn't think they were going to commit to that B hit because Davies was lurking up A short by himself.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to rotate back, but this time,
Fast pop.
same position taken, but they want to go here.
I like the star placement to allow them to go out many different ways, but there's literally a Viper Orb on that same exact position.
And Zelz is playing inside of it. Oh, I thought he was going to get all three.
Just ridiculous. That's what got them punished on Pro quite a few times, and they're trying to flash through walls or smokes. In this case, Celsius does a great job. That one is a lot harder to expect. You're gonna go through 2 smokes, really?
Last player standing.
I have to see momentum shift fast for Cloud9 here. Obviously, they got a few rounds going in their favor on the last map after getting dominated in that first half. But it has to start on map 3 if we want this to stymie KRU any little bit. We talked a lot about on the desk count. KRU hasn't really played this map, how it's going to be difficult for them to capitalize, but I actually do think that KRU is the ones who have to think a little bit harder here, because this is, I mean, this is very difficult. Obviously, you're prepped to play this composition, but it's still, when, again, Cloud9 is also throwing a curveball at you,
Right.
it's still so difficult.
Right.
You have to be surgical with the way that you're working these picks. By Davies, by Kesnet.
The last 2 bonuses we've watched have been converted.
I like this setup here. Out of KRU, despite the fact that it's going 1 for 1 and Davies actually falls, the fact that they're trying to get him into Cubby here with the TP back there is really, really important, because that's a very powerful position, especially later on when he starts getting an op up maybe on this attack as well. Look at this re-clear for Cloud9 right now.
They're going to be able to walk right past this alarm bot too. Because Davies is dead, so they're going to find plenty of space. The thing is, Nags has considered that as well, so he put down an alarm bot of his own.
Secondary one right there, exactly.
How are they going to get past that? Well, they just cleared out. And that's going to raise the alarms. Nags turning around, waiting for Leaf, cleans him up. But are you expecting 2? Because right now, Jake is in a really good position to make a play.
Spike planted.
Just trying to bait him in there. Look at this, they're both out right now, backside. Jake does a great job just waiting for that push back up from Nags.
And you expect him to try to be pacey in that situation, but it's going to be all on Jake to clean this up by himself. A flash in his face, the turn is there, and 3 swing. He only takes down 1 as KRU get on the board.
Even that 1 kill's important there, though. Yeah, he's definitely dead in that situation when he gets flashed up in a triple swing. However, only 2 remain. And the anti-bonus from KRU there, it's going to be difficult for them to even find weapons for them. Meanwhile, Cloud9's economy is perfect.
1 enemy remaining.
Given those first 2 rounds, quite clean.
Blinded.
Right back into the action. Klaus has the Seekers online. You see the op in the hands of Leaf.
And Leaf is really interested to challenge that position that Davies just took against him, where he won the fight. He's hiding the op for quite some time here. All this A lobby control is all going on. Multiple stars placed as well to condition towards C.
Leaf's going hunting. He's going exploring.
It just disrespects it all. That's crazy.
Puts himself in a position, too, where he can still get away. There's still safety in where he is. Not to mention you have Rooney relatively close by.
And again, Davies pushed up in a deep position, down short. He's waiting for a re-clear, which happened in the prior 2 rounds from Cloud9. This is very similar to the pistol, just a lot slower here. Davies was looking for this lurk on this A side.
Blinded.
We do have Klaus popping the Seekers, trying to entry into this B.
Great timing on the flat from Zeppa to get some info, because it had been a desolate few moments.
Spike planted.
This is a crazy approach right now. Both the Sentinels holding flanks while the rest of the team hits the site. That makes their hit a lot weaker. Cloud9 need to recognize that. Either way, they're going for this fast push again. It's much slower, though, than the pistol. They're not getting that half immediately.
And KRU is so far off site here. They have no intentions of having this be a brawl, at least early on. They want to make Cloud9 come to them, and they're going to have to. Klaus is going to go unchecked. And the gravity well was there. It was so well set up. But Jake cleans him up anyway.
Not even close to half here.
Rooney made an attempt at it, instantly had to cancel. KRU played this beautifully. Rooney has no choice but to save the op.
Toxins going up.
And the fact that Leaf goes for that push early, and the fact that Davies ends the player grass, Nags in this instance are holding the flanks, makes it so difficult for you to get anything. That's why this 1-3-1 hold works well for KRU. Cloud9 needs to stop this because otherwise it's going to be really hard to fight back without multiple considerations and shifts in the Viper wall, the orb, how they're actually holding that B site down. Because you can't allow that. When that B site comes down and they go for full post play like that, you need flanks. And if there's 2 sentinels watching them, that's a really nice game plan from KRU activated so far early in this half.
Different Viper wall out from Rooney this time. Again, to help shore up some of the problems that they've had on B.
That's a great start placement to try to punish Leaf, but he still gets value out of the op right now.
Thought he had lined up for a collat there for just a second. Holding this tiny angle. But it doesn't look like there's going to be challenge. KRU, after having lost their chamber, decide to rotate back. And they're going to have to navigate this Viper wall that we were just talking about. Viper wall that covers down too long, that covers garage, although it's already been disrespected by Nags.
I mean, this is just a complete adjustment based off of the fact that they're hitting that B site. And it's actually going to get circumvented, and now it's a useless wall.
And they do it by contact. They're quiet the whole time up. Rooney is a classic here, but he's not going to get challenged. You see the first smoke come through.
And there's a difference here. They're not looking for that post plant down C long, nothing like that. Instead, they put 2 stars to hold on to the site. So coming through spawn is going to be really difficult. They're not looking for grab wells to get off the spike. Instead, they're trying to delay them and come out.
I mean, there's really no easy way to get in. You can't really get in through spawn. You can't get in through garage. But Jake invests the ult anyway, and now he's going to drop the paranoia, and they want to try to funnel out. Leaf has blades. Nano clearing out backside. The blades have to be good, and they just weren't.
1 enemy remaining.
An attempt and a good one from Cloud9, despite everything that KRU did, being very nice. They still get 3 players down on that eco. But they do lose the op. Remember, Leaf started off with that. And with all the players falling, they don't carry that over. It's actually just sitting on the ground in the back of sight right there on the replay.
You see a fired up KRU as we enter this timeout.
Comparison to last year, where it was completely global.
Klaus has had himself a field day on Haven so far. And for as much as we've talked about Kesnet and Chamber and all this other stuff, once again, we find ourselves in a position where the start from KRU comes from an unexpected position.
Yeah. And Klaus does have Seekers up again, right? 2 and 6 rounds, averaging 1 every 3.
That's crazy.
I've got your
Want to go B, and they're going to push into some of this utility. There you see the Seekers that were just cleared out. Kesnet takes the high ground. And maybe, yeah, they use Elsis's lockdown for an attempt at a retake here.
This might be nadeable here, but no, Kesnet's going to get off, and he has the showstopper to get back in this. 2 stars already on the spike. They've got mollies as well.
Leaf has dashed his way forward so aggressively. There it is, showstopper on. Is it going to connect? It does onto Zeppa. 5v3 in favor of KRU.
Consistently hitting those where others are missing.
Leaf having to make a big play here, and they're going to swing into 4. They've got the smoke to cover one side, and they've cleaned them up. But KRU with the counter punch, leaving Rooney alone, and he falls as well. Out of the timeout, KRU win another round.
Recalling my bot.
These attack sides
Everyone
in the
note
last
down your
2 maps
observations,
have
then
been
press 1.
really, really nice from KRU. Not only withstanding the pressure from Cloud9's ecos, but also making these gun rounds look so good. And that's such a far cry from what we saw on Ascent. Just perfect from Cloud9 to that instance. They only won 2 gun rounds, KRU did. What a shift in momentum, what a shift in form. They've absolutely woken up.
Yeah, we've got something cooking on our hands here. We thought after the first map that it was for all intents and purposes over. I think even after the second map, we thought, oh, okay, maybe it's an anomaly. Cloud9 will punch their way back in, but this KRU team just continues to surprise.
And look at this again. Leaf is trying to get aggressive on the flanks, but it's just covered, even when the fact that KRU is literally hitting the C side at that point.
Look at how much the Sentinels are doing damage here. You've got the trademark, or the alarm bot, excuse me, out from Killjoy, who's handing out an A main. You've got grass covered, and you have a turret across mid.
Yep.
For
All
as
3
much
of
as
these pieces of util are just so good at just protecting and keeping map control.
And for as much as we've talked about the Sentinels controlling the extremities, right, as they want to hit B, now you see a total flip. where all of the utilities across mid and they can focus on the outside.
Oh, Jake just got spammed too by Melzer off of a jump spot. And they'll speed their way back over to the C side. And Rooney still has his wall up. This is a really nice retake wall. But they clear the back of sight. Zeppet's going for a play. They're flooding out Garage.
They just don't have the guns to do this, man. They just don't.
It's very rare that that sort of play from Cloud9 does not net a single kill on either of the people trying to flood. Instead, KRU soar up to 5 in a row now. And we have to start pointing out, I mean, this attack side has been so good from them once we got on the Pearl. On Pearl, they didn't lose a single post plant. Remember, I mean, they won all rounds on their attack side, so naturally that makes sense. That follows. Here, they're already up to what, like 4 post plants?
Yeah.
Only lost the pistol in that instance. Just crazy.
This is now the 3rd or 4th variation of the wall we see out from Rooney, this time focused towards mid, but that's another opener for Kesnet for as cold of a start as he had. And really lukewarm of a series as he's had.
Yeah.
This is where it feels like he's starting to click.
And you did see there an attempt for Leaf to go aggressive and also the Omen flash to come through. That's something that you can do a lot with the breach comps that everybody used to run.
Fault line, yeah, absolutely.
All that sort of thing it's really nice, but in this case, Leaf is ahead and the paranoia doesn't get much. Jake doesn't have the time to follow up. You want somebody else there with him.
Now look at this discipline out from KRU.
It's really, I mean, this double sentinel comp is forcing Cloud9 to get antsy. And that's not what you want to see from them. And I don't want to see continued hero play attempts from Leaf where he dies very early. Because even if you get that space, it's not gaining you anything against all these different passive utility out from KRU.
They're going to push their way into B once again, and you see the Sentinels. The plan is still the same, but this time, Zelsa seems to be able to hold them back. The Spike's sitting on the other side of the wall, on the other side of the smoke.
Here.
A little bit of an error there from KRU, thinking that they can get through with that boom bot, but instead, they didn't really consider the change that this makes once this Viper wall has been shifted over here.
This is brutal. There are no flashes to pop out of. There's no nothing. You just have to take this drive, and you're done. There's no way through that.
This Viper wall is going to be really key going forward on this B site. And after that timeout, you've got to have that sort of insistence there from this Cloud9 team. You have to continue to be diligent on that too. You have to have util to stop that B hit. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in that post plant that's really, really strange.
We'll take a look at it one more time. Zelsa is holding the line there, which is beautiful.
Vulnerable. 2 players there from him.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
One enemy remaining.
Final cross as well. Perfect.
Just walking into a firing range there.
We're into it. Tour de Force ups right now. They're going to dash again. There's the flash. Same thing.
So aggressive!
What is that?
Leaf with 3. The flash as he tucks into the cloudburst, looking for the 4th to put him away, and he does.
And that's what they're looking for. That's why they're continuing to play aggressive.
And you know, we were having this conversation in the previous round about Leaf making hero plays and things like that, but if you need your star to come online to catch fire, that's the type of play that makes it happen.
And for them to go for that twice in a row, by the way, my goodness. Cloud9 are the masters of this A aggression. I was wondering how it's going to continue to happen here without the same level of util available to them with this composition. Instead, it's just still beautiful. And they've gotten themselves right back into this game.
As much doom and gloom as it looked like, you're right. And it looks like they're going back to this 1-3-1, where they're able to work the middle of the map. But again, this Viper wall out from Rooney that you pointed out 2 rounds ago makes a big difference. You see the attempt from Kesnet to clear out some of this Killjoy utility with the satchel, and it's not connecting. It was just a bit short.
Yeah, just trying to break the alarm bot. Alarm bot's not even there. Big Omen ult for info here for Jake. Spots nothing down C long. Maybe he's trying to set himself up in garage here. Meanwhile, Trailblazer coming in. At the same time, Trailblazer coming out from the B push. Zelsis is turned up.
Davies was fully tethered there.
You should run.
He had the TP to get out from it. He's not able to do anything with it. Meanwhile, the lockdown invested. from the attacking side.
Oh,
But it leaves some gaps.
Leaf hasn't gapped in long, too. This is crazy. You never expect this. He might have made noise, though.
Even if he did, it doesn't matter. Klaus, though, cleans
Hello? Hello? Oh, my goodness.
Dead. He's so stuck. Klaus with 2 big kills there. Now Seekers used the 3v3 here. Spike does manage to go down. How do Cloud9 burst their way back into this? You have Zelsis. Seems to be the tip of the spear. He's made a couple of big plays so far. Kazna with the satchel. Zelsis is dead.
One enemy
Just 2 remain, and it quickly turns into 1. Rooney in a 1v3. Kazna and Klaus both weak. There's still so much to do here for Rooney. For the Viper, who's weak himself. No one dare challenge. No one dare swing. There's the first, waiting for it. Klaus gets a 4K to get Crew to 6.
And at this point, they make it on site. They win the round. And I actually thought Cloud9 had some pretty useful tools there. They still had that Viper Orb online. They still had the flashes as well to try to deal with this pressure coming in. But again, a risk being taken there by both Leaf and Zeppa. Zeppa thought he had a little cubby there out of the lockdown. But slightly misplays it.
The Crew fan base has shown up in a big way through this LCQ run. Not just here in Santa Monica, but around the world. Find themselves up 2 rounds, but Leaf with the potential to play spoiler here. Oh, he saw that. He's just not going to get an angle, though.
And he TP'd off of it. Clearly heard it, though. So should make some adjustment here from Cloud9. Zeppa just jiggling.
He only has a
For
stinger.
recall star, and that forces actually a flash out. Might end up popping Seekers at some point to confirm. No, the Cosmic Divide is enough for it. There's the Seekers. They're going to fight back with a flash.
They're staying in front of the Cosmic Divide here. They want to take the fight to
Nade
Crew.
in the back of sight. Oh, Kesnet with the ult too.
Is he going to find anything? He does on his
Of course it
Zelsis.
does.
The guy just doesn't miss his ults. Zeppa's not finding anything with the stinger either. You wonder here if it's just going to be a call for a save. That seems to be the case. Leaf has already turned tail.
Ernie's looking for some sort of mistake here. And it's funny because, yeah, normally Cloud9 is really doing some damage in these moments.
Poison orb emitting.
He needed to save that. Leaf does have knives, but economically they're hurting. And yeah, I'm curious now. I mean, thinking back towards that stinger, Celsius has 1.8K. Potentially could have upgraded something else there for Zeppa. And now we're heading into the final round of the half too, so.
And if you're lucky, Cloud9, you get to keep that op because it seems like they're looking for Leaf.
Remember on Pearl, that massive round where they took down all 3 guns leading into this final round.
Last round before the switch.
So what do they have here? They have the op, and I think I saw the purchase for 1. But their buy can't be great.
Just disgusting round from Kesnet.
What do you have, 3 on the round there?
Yeah. The showstopper to start. Everything works out really nicely for him. Leaf is going to take this angle, much like we saw from Zeppa in the last round. Just hold this down and get the information on whether they're crossing, but it's not going to be an aggro play, nothing like that.
It's just going to be a smoke, and Davies is already ahead of it.
Oh, wow.
He tucks behind the recalled smoke.
Yeah.
Finds a timing window.
All the way down. And this is the same position he's always played in. Look at the TP, though. He's actually being able to get back in towards this beat and hit the post plant fast. They've got to hold on to it.
This is the pistol once again. The paranoia from Jake. He still gets
the
cleaned up.
damage. 2 HP from the that boom bot.
This is really nice pressure out from Cloud9, though, as they try to take Garage, try to pinch in and corral what Crew have.
Yeah, that turret was normally watching, and they've broken it. Which means that flank is available, that avenue is available. Davies against Leaf.
Stop, this close is going to be a problem, but the shorty is not. They've kept it competitive, they've kept it interesting, and they still have a shot in this round. And they're going to be pushing in towards C, where really nobody is. Zeppa's the only one who's close by, and he has 2 HP.
And those mollies, that alarm bot, that turret, everything is disabled right now. Zelsis is already dead.
Rooney has the pit, but he's really not in a position to make a play with it.
No. Absolutely not, and Crew has been focused on playing on sites when it comes to the C post plant.
They're both down already. Rooney swings out, and he's done. An 8-4 half for Crew.
That is a fantastic
Switching
half.
sides.
After losing the pistol, these sort of things.
Massive hole to dig yourself out of.
Yeah, and I completely agree with Ned in terms of getting the Viper on site. He can easily put down an orb and molly in spawn on this A site, but what they didn't talk about was the fact that there's 2 Sentinels on the side of KRU right now.
Well, you see the trap setup already. Look at that.
Nade grab well.
And there are 4 who are pinching in. They're just on the other side of the smoke.
Denies it, yeah. I mean, they're going to walk up into
There's no pop flash on the other side of it. There's no nothing. They just take the fight. And of course, it's 2 controllers who walk away with 2 kills.
Oh, Zeppa, those frenzies for him, man. It's always getting one.
How does Kesnet still get another there?
Toxins going up.
And Davies was just locking down the rest of the map, by the way. Just the KJ util on B, and then Davies on C. Everybody else towards this A side, and somehow, someway, Cloud9, despite losing the first 2, come out on top, and the dog spots him.
Yeah, I thought there may have been a window there for Davies to tuck up into stairs and avoid the Trailblazer, but he gets spotted, and then the flash in his face too, and then you're gonna have to face 2 players from KRU.
And the frenzy of Zeppa just doesn't lose in these corners too up close.
Yeah. Although that is an ominous thing to say. It does not. It was Rooney who cleaned him up. He gets 4 on the round to get Cloud9 the pistol.
That's super important. But also remember, Cloud9 ended up winning that pistol in the first half. The fact that that nade grab well laid them for so long. Because they're trying to use that smoke to get through short really fast, and that's why you think you see them go through it anyways. They stick with the plan. And it does work out eventually.
Time to mobilize my pack.
Ah. KRU decided to buy 2 Marshals.
Yeah, and they're stacking C. What is this? Same star place, same smoke place from Cloud9, but no nade, so that's just a big tell right now.
This is unique.
And Melzer is blindly placing a star on A to continue to keep some question in Cloud9's mind about what the heck is going on right now without that nade.
After the KRU huddle on C, they disperse. You have 2 rotating through spawn, but then you have a 3-player flank. Coming in from the attacking side, the turret should spot what's going on
They
here.
might get a smoke here, though, waiting for maybe Melzer to come back up, so they're going to try to get around it, but they're going to... It just got pulled away. It just got pulled away, and now the smoke is gone, so they can't use it for the retake, and they also can't get through the alarm bot anyways.
Now, timing on that is insane. You see the nade trying to cause problems, and it did delay the plan for just a moment. But Jake retakes the position. There's the alarm bot that we were just talking about. Zealous is waiting on the other side, understanding there's prey to be had. You got Rooney, who's playing down from A-long with a stinger, no less, but still in a position to deal some damage. Has the Ghost to work with as well. They've gotten past the first, but this is taking so much time.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's gotten interesting. Leaf getting healed up. He still has a Guardian too, and they're both playing backside. You see the flash up from Zeppa. Pre-fire from Davies. Concerned of the swing that just never comes.
Any damage done here? Be nice for Davies. He already took down one crucial one. They let him cross, though. Gets away with it. And Cloud9 narrow the deficit just a little bit. And they also maintain the bonus option here. 3 players stayed alive, so this is definitely going to be committing to that. And KRU. Big opportunity here, this anti-bonus. But they've got to stop with the stacking. This is something we've seen in both of these. Sure, pistol, eco, you can go for some gambles. That's 100% possible. But now, again, there's 4 people committed to the other side of the map. Only the Sky on A, which is absolutely fine. This is a regular setup now. No gambles happening.
See how KRU set up defensively. They have so much presence towards B, not just via utility, but they have 2 players hanging out there as well.
I really like what Davies is actually doing with this turret in garage. He's peeking off the turret, and he has this TP to actually get out, so can go for one early kill.
He's covered his flanks. He gets the early kill. Doesn't instantly teleport out. He's still playing around this. Now playing outside of his tether. Jake dead, and Melzer's causing problems from Platt.
And look, the trademark actually finds value too.
huge round out from Melzer.
We finally see a straight up execute and fight here from Cloud9, and it gets absolutely demolished by KRU.
I mean, a flawless round to keep the pace, to stay up 3, to potentially qualify for the grand finals. I be honest with you, I can't believe I'm saying that.
That's ridiculous. From 0-8 to now 3 series wins in a row and going on potentially the 4th. It's crazy. Crazy to consider. But you can see how much damage that trip did right there. Everybody's fighting at the same time, so nobody has room to break that. And you also have to think about the fact that there's actually no real util that you could use to break some of those early trips. So back into the round right now. It's going to be tough here for Cloud9 to really approach anywhere on the map without first trying to figure out exactly what the Sentinel util is.
And there's just so much to consider.
They don't have that much time. They don't have that many rounds to really experiment with it.
No.
So maybe they just send it through it and it actually works out.
The Paranoia covers off the left side of B, and then the Trailblazer go in 2. So they've gotten some semblance of control, but this doesn't feel secure.
No plant yet. They also have a Cosmic Divide for the retake, and you're looking at Melzer flirting with the possibility of going for a flank through Garage.
Meanwhile, you see Rooney considering the flank potentially towards A, but that's not where it's coming from. They've got the turret out from Zelsys to consider that side from Garage, but I think if Rooney's going to make a play here on A, he's got to be pacey about it.
They can't get off the site right now.
No, they're stuck.
They're giving up behind the Cosmic Divide right now.
Perhaps realizing that it's going to dissipate here soon, but Rooney's flank is covered.
With the flank pressure too from Melzer, there's no way you can get back at fighting through this Cosmic Divide. Zelsys is going to make an attempt at it, but beautiful round from KRU.
And a bloody massacre for Cloud9. Everything so well considered.
I want to see Cloud9 right now really start to push the tempo up towards this A side instead, where the Sentinel utility is much less considered.
No
It's
more.
where they've had success so far. Because the setup normally here from KRU is only the Sky playing in that direction.
Scary situation for Cloud9. They find themselves down 4 in this map 3. And I think the scarier thing is as you look at the members, the faces of the members of KRU, they're calm. It's not emotional, it's not very high, it's very collected.
Blinded.
That's the look of a team who fully understands what's before them and what they need to do to close it out. But maybe Cloud9 have a counterpunch here off of Zelsys' lockdown.
They just continue to invest in rounds that are low percentage. And they've definitely, I mean, gone back to maybe the average in terms of eco round win rate. But they're still making these sort of plays, making these investments. Zelsys with the lockdown here.
Yeah, it reminds me of the series yesterday.
But this is crucial, right? Rooney has this molly still. They definitely have exactly what Net was talking about at halftime. About delaying the push back into it. And there's going to be a lot of people trying to get in from KRU. Can they break through?
They've gotten onto the site, they've gotten the spike down, and there you see in that exact moment, you highlighted it a few rounds ago, there's the focus, there's the dump of utility. Look at Zeppo playing on the inside of that smoke too, popping a flash, it's all delay, 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 delay. How does KRU get back in? Just like that, I guess they've been able to get 2 big kills. Jake looking up into the heavens to see if he can take one down with him, but no, he falls.
Spam is missing, no way!
Axie's gonna get it the whole way. There's nothing Rooney can do here. Gets the kills, but it does not matter. The round is done. KRU get to 11.
How in the world did KRU just pull that off? They got delayed until they had to immediately get on the spike as they got on the site. That is just ridiculous.
And that was the circumstance, that was the condition that we felt like was necessary for Cloud9 to win rounds.
Yeah, and remember they invested. They killed your lockdown.
Yeah.
To get in that position, they thought it's a given. And it all falls apart. Maybe because of the weaker weaponry.
My ultimate is ready.
And now Cloud9 have put themselves in a position where it's 2 rounds to go here for KRU.
And up in the hands of Davies. But once again, focus on this fight mid. This has the potential for danger once more, but Nags does eventually take one. You see this ping-ponging of kills back and forth.
Your trail.
It's just crazy. Zeppa pops the Seekers though. Kesnet has an opportunity to maybe try to get through it.
He has Showstopper. He has 2 satchels. And he delays the plant for just a moment. But what can Zeppa do?
Oh, gosh.
His timing here is huge.
Remaining.
Gets 1 kill. Still 1 more to be found. Davies up close with the op.
You got the stun.
He's been spotted, switches over. Much more of a mid-range weapon. Still has so much to do before him. The alarm bot gonna get his position. With a double face! And Davies takes him down!
All the harassment that just occurred. The flashes from Zeppa. The Trailblazer into the alarm bot still. They swing off of it. And he hits the Red Bull clutch to put KRU on match point. What a crazy moment out from Davies the Chamber. And it's starting to be smiles right now. They're back up on the match point. They had quite a few on Pearl.
They have 5 ults. They have every...
KRU is very possible as they make their way forward and through Cloud9. Still not over just yet. And again, Cloud9 really trying to focus now over towards the safe side, but Davies has done such a good adjustment. He's actually started to opt through this and also put the trademark on, but misses the shot and loses that position early. The thing is, there's 2 players still here for KRU.
And Davies has taken the space back.
Showstopper out.
He refills. There's the Seekers. See Kesnet looking for something.
Off the air!
But the smoke is what's keeping him back, so they're going to rotate off of this.
And Jake didn't even get the TP off. If he got that, maybe they have the C site to rotate into now. They're struggling. They're scrambling.
They've been thrown into disarray, and Melzer with position to put him away. Spike on the ground, a 5v3. KRU in a position to pull off what everyone thought was unthinkable. What everyone thought was impossible.
It should have been.
The first few series, sure. Against a weak MIBR, why not? But against Cloud9.
Here.
An outrageous possibility, but Jay can snatch them back, and he can do it on his own. He gets 2 there. Zelsis with another counter, now pit invested. Bit of room for Rooney to work. Maybe Nags can make a play. Of course, it's going to be Nags. He's gotten it down to a 2v2. It's still up. Nags with another.
No way. The lockdown going to be invested.
Rooney has to push this. He's got to go. Well considered by Nags. The tuck, though, clears it out. There's the swing. He's gotten it down to 1v1.
Oh, no.
Where's Davies? Just on the other side, and he